Yeah, Sergeant Waldron's going to.
Okay.
All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first scheduled appointment is DPW, Mr. Lee Nichols.
And I brought
Talking about Seth can come up. We're going to talk first about the towing services. Respect of the parking ordinances. Fill us in.
the parking ordinance. You guys have the copy without the, or you have the old one with the minimum $65 storage or whatever. I got the, from Lieutenant Ventura, I got the Wakefield Police Department's towing and recovery services memorandum of understanding like we discussed. They don't have any set fees, so I worded the parking ordinance the same way.
I'm sorry, I didn't put a new one in because I really didn't,
They
I
have
don't know what I was, yeah, I didn't put a new one in the package.
That was in the, under the penalty phase, paragraph B.
Part 6.
Part 6, yes. Excuse me, I'm running all on slate. So instead of putting any kind of numbers on there, I quoted right out of this memorandum of understanding. The towing charges are based on industry standards and will be in accordance with the town's towing and recovery services memorandum of understanding, which is on file with Wakefield Police Department.
John, are you okay with the fine, the ordinance, the fine being $20?
That's on just the parking ban, non-emergency time.
The violation of the ordinance.
I'm fine, I mean, you guys can set that however you want, I'm fine with that.
Do you have tickets that you assess that?
We can assess that one next week, yes,
Okay.
that's fine.
John did bring up, his suggestion was the one warning to move the vehicle. He suggests if it's in our way of plowing to, instead of knocking on doors.
Which means
What do
you
you
go
mean?
to him, correct?
I call,
Yeah,
I
because you
can't.
can't,
look at it.
no.
I can't touch any vehicles.
Yep.
Okay.
But his suggestion was take the one warning out. If it's in our way, we call PD and they call Crowds.
It's in the way, it's in the way, get rid of it.
Where's the warning?
Penalty, Part 6 penalty,
Part 6, A,
B1.
oh yeah, B1, sorry.
RB1 says offenses.
Just be,
Here.
You left it in there.
Yeah, but you're not warning them if it's in the way of plowing.
Right.
If it's in the way of plowing, it's being hooked and gone, but you're warning them if it's just parked on the side of the street. and-
Yes.
Yeah, that would be up to them. 'Cause I
Yeah,
would
that's
call that
understandable,
if
but
it's,
if it's in the way, it needs to be moved.
okay, because in the past, we've called PD and they've gone knocking on doors and asked them to move it.
I know, and
What
it's
is-
nice, but let's just do it and be done with it.
What is E? All fines collected under the provisions of these regulations shall, is that supposed to be
Inure.
insure?
Nope.
Inure, what is that?
Place, did you
Accumulate.
accumulate or placed in, I think, one of
Placed
those.
in the general fund.
Oh, never saw that word before in my life.
I'll second that one.
It's new.
I would like, it's not that new, I would
Just
like
knew
to
it's
take
spelled
credit
that
for
way.
that word, but as I
Okay.
said, this policy was written in '87, wasn't me.
Who the heck wrote that?
And we got the date right, today is the 24th.
Yep,
Well, this has been a long time coming.
Go for it.
Motion to accept the parking ordinance as presented by the DPW director?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Where's the sign? The copy that you want signed?
You can sign that one if you would like.
Yes, I just
Okay. Any other ones?
Any one of them, huh?
Do you think so?
Yes. No changes except the date now that that finally passed.
Do you have a copy of this, Kelly? You have one?
And the signed copy, you tell me. And, or if you want, I'll scan it and give you the original or whatever. Now, this is one you said you guys already approved it, but I had to go back and change the date because it notated the amendment, or the adopted dated parking policy. This is the inclement weather one.
On November 13th, amended and approved on January 13th. Okay. January 2014.
So I changed that date so it matches
Mhm.
that.
Yep.
That to maybe.
Mhm. So, this one says, will receive right away during winter maintenance operations, will only receive one warning to move the vehicle.
Yep.
I thought they were gonna be told if they were in the way.
If we're gonna take it out of that parking policy, then I get a revamp quote of these. I don't have a problem with it.
But the problem is if we write it in, here's the problem.
I don't
you
have a
know, is
problem
John-
with hooking them right off the bat either.
Well, here's the problem is, John, you know, if you came to my house during plowing operations at 3 o'clock in the morning, bleary-eyed from plowing all night, I'm not sure I'd be happy to see at my door at 3 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't be too happy you plowed me either, but I might not like somebody banging on the door. And so I don't know, if the police department doesn't want to give a warning, if it's in the way of plowing operations, then we should, they're the ones that tow it, we should honor their wishes in that, I think. I mean, this is kind of it's in your way, you're gonna determine if it's in your plowing operations way, and they're gonna deal with how it gets
So-
taken, so.
How's this for an idea? I'll take the warning out of the inclement weather, I'll take the warning out of the parking policy, and I'll leave it here for you guys to sign. Instead of bringing this up.
Actually, if
next
you
week.
just email it to me or Tony,
Mhm.
and that way I can print it single-sided, I don't care if you double-side policies after they're signed and approved, but for our books, if everything goes the same way, it's single-sided, then it's easier to reproduce for us. Send it all to us in Word, we'll make the changes you want, send it in Word, we'll print it on single-sided, and we'll put it in their box to sign. You can make the motion to sign it with that revision. That way it's done for tonight, and you can come in and do it whenever.
Mr. Chairman, that would be the motion that I just made.
Up for discussion, do we have to take the one back that we just okayed?
Yes.
So should we do that first? We could just did it?
We would change the date on it to whatever
Okay.
date we sign it.
All right.
Make
all
those
in-
revisions and.
Yep,
Okay, with the provisions,
to take
All in
out
favor?
one warning.
Yeah, nobody seconded
Aye.
it. Wait, you gotta second it first.
I did.
She did.
You did, okay.
So all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay,
So you just adopted it with the recommended changes?
Yes.
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, he's taking the warning out.
Yeah.
And then he can just leave them in there.
On both
We can
pieces.
take care of it.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
Do you want to highlight it?
Thank you.
Are you on the using sand and salt for winter road maintenance?
next is proposed contract on GK, GNK, or whatever that is.
Let's get used to salt.
What happened to the use of
Fleet.
salt?
I've got that.
Is there a warning in here?
No. I watched the selectmen's meeting after I left. 2 meetings ago, we had a resident in here that had questions and concerns about how we were doing the roads and why we were doing what we were doing. And he said he saw one of the trucks come out of Dearborn Road and head back to town instead of going to the main line. And I just wanted to address those real quick for not only your knowledge, but the public's knowledge. So, I mean, I've been putting a lot of it on Facebook, like last night, why we kept snow on the gravel roads, because the rain was coming and stuff like that. Number one, when that individual saw the truck coming out of Dearborn and coming back to town, they were out doing dirt roads. There's no dirt roads up at the main line. So he had come off North Shore and he was heading back.
Dearborn.
Off of Acton Ridge.
Oh, okay.
Goes out to the lake.
Yep.
So,
And also salt. The reason we use salt at the very beginning and at the end, the very beginning, is to keep the snow from packing down and sticking. That way when we go to plow it, it takes it all off. You don't get the hard back, you don't get the ice. You do get the slush, but at least the slush on tires squirts out from the side and you get down the pavement. Plus with slush, it's easier for us to clear the roads like we did today. Speed, I've said before, the effective, through many studies, the most effective speed at which to plow salt and sand is 25 miles an hour. Now, if anybody sees any of my trucks doing more than that, I know the North Route, that one actually has a push button transmission. You hit mode, it won't go any higher than 3rd gear. It won't shift out of 3rd. If anybody does see an issue with speed and they're flying down at 60 miles an hour or whatever, call me.
Well, we can usually tell by how far the spray is.
Yes and no. I was doing Forest Hills with the pickup truck and I was sending it to get 15 feet.
Yeah.
And I was at 25.
That's in your truck, the other ones. It was nice, I like it. Like it makes a mess.
We try not to hit houses and cars. But I just wanted to touch on those. And we've had pretty good feedback on the Facebook where I'm telling people how we do stuff and why. And they're like, oh gee, I never knew that.
Right.
It does seem to get the public.
Information goes a long way.
Yep.
I got a call yesterday, they wouldn't leave their name, about Pine River Pond and Ballard's Ridge. And he said that his road had not been plowed in 24 hours. And I said, well, no, that's not true, because Lee was in my office 3 hours ago to give me a report that they had done all the roads at least once. And then he said, well, I don't understand why it's been like this for the last 2 winters, because you used to get the crews out at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I said, well, I also know for a fact that Lee was out at 2 and the crews were out at 3.
Yep.
So I don't understand the complaint.
Our
And then
biggest, if it was today, our biggest problem
Was
all day yesterday and last night,
Nice.
every time we went out and we finally got them treated, the heavy rains came, washed everything off, and then it froze right back up.
Yeah.
We chased that storm from, we came in, what, 2:30, I called you guys in? On Monday. Was it Monday? What's today, Wednesday? Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Those guys got to leave at 3:30, and I called Seth and Chuck back because the north end still had stuff on it. So us 3 stayed till 7 on Monday. Went home, I kept an eye on the weather all night, so I didn't get any sleep. And then the sheriff's department called me at 2 this morning because somebody come flying down Rhines Road too fast and almost ended up in the park. It was a young lady in a Honda, she was halfway up the snowbank.
I also got a call on the answer machine today from an older woman who said she was going from San Bernardino to Milton, I believe, and hit a pothole hard enough that it wrecked her rim. She said she left a message for you. She never left her name or number. That's a state road.
Yes.
If people would leave their names and number, I'd be happy
Right.
to get back to them and refer them to the right people.
I
And
don't
if that
recall.
pothole had been reported, then the state will pay for that. So it would be awesome
Yeah.
if
I don't
she
recall
had
a
left it.
message on my machine, but I can tell you Kenny and his crew almost twice a week for the last month have been repairing the same holes.
Well, with the
'Cause they-
rain we got, it probably just flushed it out.
They go and
the
coal
hole.
patch it after the storm
Yeah.
because they plow up the coal patch or whatever, and the water's under it, pops it back up the minute it freezes. That's what all the cones are down 153, and they were out there again today, repatching
Yeah,
every
I
one
felt
of them.
bad, but, I mean, she didn't leave her name or number, so I couldn't really get back to her and let her know, but, she was upset.
Yeah. Oh, I don't blame her. I mean, I've hit one of them with my truck, and it will wake you up in the morning. The one down by Irving and the one
Around
at
them.
Whipper Ridge, you try to go around them, they're far enough out, you're coming in oncoming traffic. So I usually jam on the brakes and let the car go by and then go around it.
I'm sure they'll be onto it.
So, yeah, if you get those two, you can send them to me, and usually what I do is put them in contact with Kenny Cog if it's a state road.
Yeah, and both of them did not leave.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just telling you because maybe they get out in the public and, you know, people won't realize it's a state road and
Yeah.
call the state, or if they wanna call us and they don't have to leave me their name, but then I can refer them to the state or let the state know.
Right. Yeah.
But when you just leave a message and I can't really get back to you, so.
I've got the barn number over there, but I also have Kenny's.
I have his cell phone number, you gave it to me this summer,
Oh,
so.
okay. And that's his state issued cell phone.
Okay, what else?
I think that's about it. Those pieces of paper you're looking through are for your reference, if you have any questions about using salt and some of the new technologies coming up. This one here, using salt and sand for winter road maintenance, that was written way back in '97. And they've come a long way with some of the things they talk about in there, the calcium chloride, the magnesium chloride, which I am investigating right now. I just met with a guy from Meredith. He sells that liquid calcium brine that we can pre-wet our salt piles with, so we don't have to get saddle tanks on the trucks and all that.
How about putting Brian down prior to?
I don't want to get into that right now. It's easier to wet the pile, because you don't, wet it before you go out. You wet it once, and it stays on the salt until you use that salt up. So we would probably pre-wet it as we get the deliveries in. The problem with the liquid brine is if the weather changes on you, or you end up getting rain, or you put down too much, that actually gets slimy and it gets slippery like ice. So there's a fine line with using the brine. Even the state, I think, is only using it on the major highways, like 93 and 89.
They just started using it on the double N 16 from Rochester.
Oh, did they?
All the way down to Dover, that I saw.
I may look into that in the future, but right now, I got all new guys, it's easier just to have them spread pre-wet salt, which pre-wet salt will melt down to, I think it's 25 below zero.
How we doing with salt? I mean, are we doing?
Going through it like crazy.
I mean, in all, I mean, we look okay, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we always usually have plenty.
Yeah,
But
I
we've
mean,
had
we
a
ju-
little bit of rain this year.
We're going off on the assumption of the default budget. So, yeah, we just flipped into that. So I think we're about on track what we used last year, so at this time.
Okay,
For a while yesterday, when it was pouring rain, we actually switched from salt to straight sand because it was just washing off anyway.
We were trying to get the sand just to soak up some of the water that was in the road and give you some traction until we go back out. But like I said, when the rain died down, Weather Channel yesterday said the freezing rain would be done at 8 in the morning. And then they said 11. About 11 I checked, they said, 2:45. I checked it at 1 and they said 5:45. And when we left, I left about 8:30, it was still freezing rain, and these guys never got out until almost 11.
It was raining.
And
It started raining again at 9.
Yeah.
9 to like 10:30.
Are you guys tied into the state EMS
No.
for like stuff like that?
If Kenny goes out and the road, like with freezing rain, the roads are just absolutely nasty. If the sheriff hasn't already called me, he usually calls my cell phone and says, we're out and all these roads look like junk. He's done that, he did that a few times last year. I didn't need to call you. No, by all means, if nobody else has, give me a call.
Yeah, so now I think the state has a better forecasting.
Oh, I'm into their
Okay.
road, RWIS, I think it is, or
Okay.
something like that. I have access to that, I got it through one of my classes. And I also go off Weather Channel, the National Weather Service out of Gray, Maine. And they tell you to take all different ones. The only one I wouldn't go with is New Hampshire News, internet news. That last storm we got 6 to 8 inches, they were predicting 18 to 36. You throw them into your averages from all the other ones and it throws you way off. But if I average all those places, it tends to come out pretty close. It's just everybody got it wrong yesterday.
Which GK services?
That is our uniform contract. I was looking into getting the prep guard and the image guard. I was inquiring about how much that would be. So the salesman came to see me and presented me with a contract, which I brought up to Kelley, and she looked it over. It's the same contract that we're in right now. They just want to basically give us a new contract for another 3 years. Kelley is not in agreement with it, and she talked to Rick
Yeah.
Sager, because in the contract, if we cancel, if we terminate early, it is a early termination fee of, you multiply the number of weeks remaining in the current term and an amount equal to 50% of the average weekly invoice. Basically, you have to buy the contract out at 50%.
It's not just that, though.
It's, also they may, in their contract, it says annually, they may increase up to 5% over the existing amount every year. We went with this company after we got rid of Universe because we had so much trouble with them. And me and Kelley already talked about this. I'm not at odds. I would like to keep this company. The prep guard and image guard in this new contract would actually, at this point, not including if they go up next year, the 5%. At this point, would actually, adding that, he worked it out, he could save us $10 a month. What the prep guard is the patches for Wakefield Highway and the names and everything. Every time we get new uniforms or we hire someone new or we exchange uniforms, we get charged for them to put them on. The prep guard covers all that, so we don't get charged any extra for setting them up.
How much longer have we got with this
2 years
contract?
on this.
1 year.
1 year.
1 year. It expires at the end of 18. She signed it on December of 15, so we did all of 16, all of 17, we have 1 year left, which is the other piece for me. I would have signed it for 1 year to just do the prep guard and try it out for 1 year and save the money, and then talk about a 3 year at the end of the 18, but I'm not interested in, because it's over, the contract is over $6,000 annually. So it should be put out to bid, and basically what he's doing is he's getting a 5-year contract out of us instead of a 3 year, because we're not gonna let this expire at the end. He wants a new 3 year. So I'm jazzed about saving $10 a month or $20 a month, but I'm not jazzed about locking in for 3 more years.
However, when I read through this, where is it? Oh, at the bottom of the first page, it says, and I believe the original one says that too, so I'm not sure. this agreement shall be effective and binding on customer as of the date of execution. The initial term of this agreement shall be 60 months. I don't know if
So
you
on the
changed
original
that.
one, he crossed it off and put 36, and they all
Okay.
initialed it off, so.
And then if we are going to terminate this, because after that it says it'll automatically renew for 36 months.
Yeah. It was signed on December of 2015 for 3 years, so all of 16, all of 17, all of 18 is the 36.
I guess my only problem is
Teresa
it's just like anything else. I mean, if it's over $5,000, it's gotta go for bid no matter what.
Okay.
But why should we change it when we've got another year to go?
Because it was going to save us money adding,
$10 a
Oh.
month?
no, that was,
Oh.
the monthly fee was $10 a month. To set up a shirt, I think it's $30 per shirt to put these patches and stuff.
Huh?
What, have we ever looked into buying the shirts and letting you launder your shirts and just uniforming out the pants? Do they,
$30.
because we could, I'm pretty sure for $6,000, we could buy you all 10 shirts, and you could throw them away at the end of the year, and we'd buy you 10 shirts next year, and just launder the pants. Or, I mean, I feel like there's other options that are cheaper than almost $7,000 a year.
And we can look into it. They've always had uniforms since I've been here.
Yeah, and I'm not against doing uniforms again, but I think we should let this contract run its course, and I think we have to renew 90 days.
If we're gonna terminate,
So
we
then
have to let them know 90 days prior.
Right, so we start negotiating with them in October or in August, and we decide by September whether we're gonna terminate and do something different, or, you know, or we could put it out to bid in July, but I just feel like, he's given us a bone to get 3 more years,
And
and
yet-
it's not a big enough bone.
I was gonna say, he is, and he told me that, because I went back to him
Right,
and
so
said,
he
well,
doesn't-
you were willing to sign it for 1 year for the $10 a month, getting these 2 extra things. He goes, now why would I give you the discount and everything if I'm not getting anything out of it? I'm asking for an additional 2 years, and I'm giving you a discount
Right.
plus.
And he
the-
may get even less, he may not get our business. I
Yeah.
mean, in
And
July
it
or
could be.
August, we'll see who's in the business, we'll see who's interested in
Yeah.
bidding, and we'll see if we can do it, like I said, buy our own and put our own patches on it. I'm pretty sure an embroidery company, seriously, I'm not joking about this, like, I don't know if your shirts get as dirty as your, you know, maybe we could just do coveralls and pants, and we can buy you all shirts, and you can throw them away every year and buy new shirts. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be $7,000, but I might be wrong, and I think we can look into that. I just wanna make sure that before we lock into another 3 years, that we're getting bang for our buck. And if that's what it turns out to be, and they're great, and he's willing to make us a better deal, we can sign that deal in August. But, and, you know, and I'll be the first one to tell the selectmen, it's a great deal, sign it.
Well, I think
This,
as
not a
DPW, you should be hard on that anyway. So jump on it and
Well,
get it done.
the issues I have, I don't mind buying uniforms, but you're not gonna end up buying just 11 pants and 11 shirts for everybody once a year. As dirty as we get these things with the stains that don't come out, the rips we get in them, the tears we get in them, and you may be able to get double that for less than that, and we'll look into that. I mean, I agree, I just wanted to bring it up. We'll look at it between now and August. But, I mean, this is just some of what we get into, some of the oil, or greases we use will not, that's
This is a good
set
shirt. I picked this one up just before I
And
came
it's
in.
supposed to have this color green right there.
And that's when you get from them?
Yes.
So when do they trade them out and get better, new
When
ones?
we ask them to trade them out, that's where,
And then we have to pay all new.
that's where that image guard would come in,
Image
so
guard,
we're
yeah.
presenting a professional image.
And I think-
That's why I asked them about it, because
All the
that just
reflective is,
yeah,
it doesn't come.
So I think we look into the image guard, and what was the other thing called?
the prep guard.
Prep guard. So we definitely look into those if we are interested in renewing, and if we put it out to bid to any
Yeah.
other companies. And who knows, by June or July, there might be another company servicing up here that might be good, that we could get. But it's a lot of money, and I think it keeps them honest and us honest if we put it out to bid every few
Yeah.
years. I mean, that is one of our requirements, so I don't think there's enough bang in the buck to sign another 3-year when we're
Okay.
10 months from being.
Because I know the reason we went with this company is because the last one we used,
We wouldn't get our shirts
we
and pants
weren't,
back.
we weren't getting our stuff back and they were charging
What's wrong
us
with doing
for it.
your own laundry, Seth?
It makes all my other laundry look like this laundry.
Well, so's my laundry.
No,
Well, it
you
looks
do
the
it
same.
separate.
Oh, when you pull a glob of grease like that out of your pocket and you run it through the washing machine, it
Well, what do
gets
you
all
put in the
unstuck,
grease when
too.
you try to take the grease off?
I bet I could get that grease out of that
Yes,
jacket.
you
right
could,
there.
it's just lack.
I can, and I can tell you what you use, you go over to Nappy and use their super clean.
I think you just spoiled, personally.
I would tell them that you also want a governmental contract, not a commercial contract.
Okay.
Because if we decide not to have uniforms for you guys one year, and there isn't an appropriation for it, there should be a clause in here that says if no
On this
appropriation
new
is
one,
made.
there is, under comments, it says the agreement term is contingent by yearly budget.
That's because that's a requirement.
Yeah, I need
They have that opt-out clause.
Yeah, it needs to be, and it needs to be spelled out
Okay.
a little better.
But I think we need to just stick with this for another year.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't-
not even that, I mean, it'll be
Right.
8 months before we
Yeah.
have to start looking at it, but.
Right.
Jesus, we're almost.
No, jeez.
Oh, shoot.
7 months. Give you something to do once you're done plowing.
Yeah,
Sure.
there's like 5 companies that service this area.
Is that?
Yeah, and
I
maybe
can give you the
hook
names
up
if
with
you
some
want.
Please, if you
other,
would.
hook up with some other DPW departments and see who they use
I'm
and
gonna
if
send
they
it
like them
out
or not.
PW, and
Yeah.
see what I get back.
Yeah, because, I mean, people know who they like and who they don't, so.
And now
Okay.
that,
What do you got?
I don't know, like,
it's on the agenda.
Talk
The,
about trucks.
Highway Division Fleet, because as I said, I still watch the meeting when I go home. And I heard the board discussing about, maybe you wanted to sit down and see what our plan was and make sure we had the right trucks and stuff, so I brought Seth for any questions. Any comments?
You
any
got the right
concerns?
truck, Seth?
the right truck?
I don't know, the right trucks.
Trucks.
We're up to 2 this year, right?
Yeah. Are we
Are you gonna sell that to the public?
talking brands of trucks or class of trucks?
I don't know, you're the one that picked them out, so I'm assuming you picked out the one that is efficient for, what we need to have for duties.
I went with the one that would replace what we already currently have. Which was just a Freightliner because we already have one. It would simplify all our parts, it would simplify all our maintenance. All the filters would be the same per se, if they're close enough in years as they should be.
Well, there's also a piece of computer equipment you use to diagnose.
Stand tool, yeah.
Yes,
So-
so trucks are kind of broken down differently than cars. They have like components, like all the brakes are gonna be from one manufacturer, the engine's another manufacturer. So I have most of that stuff already, so I wouldn't have to start over.
Because we already have one Freightliner.
Yes.
So what are the other, like?
International.
Okay, so
Mac.
if we had one Freightliner and one International and one Mac, then we would need a different hand scanning tool for each engine if they use an engine from a different manufacturer.
For some of them, yes.
Yeah.
So is that a different hand scanner or is that different
Software.
software? And what does that run?
The software is anywhere from $900 to $1,200 a module.
Okay.
So for the ABS brakes, you need its own module. For a Detroit engine, you need a module. Cummins, you need a module for that.
So that could get, I mean, if we mix and match, not that we would, but if we did have 3 different trucks, with 3 different systems,
Yeah,
that could get up into the thousands of dollars to have the right scanner. So
yes.
it's in our best interest to have the same general make and model. I'm
Yeah.
sure as they get newer, the stuff
They do
becomes
update, yeah.
obsolete and you have to update the software,
And
but
usually the stuff to update the software is cheaper than buying a whole nother one.
a whole nother system software.
For me, they're seeing, at the budget committee meeting, there seemed like there was some misunderstandings. We're not replacing any 6-wheelers with 10-wheelers, we're replacing 2 10-wheelers with 2 10-wheelers, similar in shape, size, and equipment.
So the only thing that's different is that you're trying to buy a comparable truck in 2018 versus what it was in 2002 and
Yes,
2004.
exactly, yeah.
So
Exactly.
there's not exact, we're not buying the exact orange to orange, apple to apple comparison, but we're
I don't
buying.
even think they make that.
Yeah, most model isn't available anymore.
Right, so, but we didn't go from two 10-wheelers and a 6-wheeler, or two 6-wheelers and a 10-wheeler.
No.
We had 3 10-wheelers and we're replacing 2 of those.
Yes.
Back in 2012, I think it was, 13, whenever I started, they had a Kenworth 6-wheeler.
Yes.
When they bought this 2015 is when Freddie upgraded to a 10-wheeler, so we didn't have to keep going back to load back up again halfway through the route.
Yes.
So when you do it, when you had a 6-wheeler, how many times compared to the 10-wheelers did you have to go back?
We used, halfway through the route with that 6-wheeler, I used to have to go back and load up again and then go back out and finish my route.
And where was that?
10-wheelers, I used to do Old Stage, Willie, Walsh Road, Buttercup, Brackett Road, Fellows Road, and then I headed down the Union and did all the downtown Union route.
So you had to go back in between?
Yeah, had to, I ran out.
And do you ever have to go back from,
Never.
unless you're starting the route over again?
Yeah,
Yes.
when we come back after the route, then we top it back off and go back up.
Is there any place that you're plowing right now, other than things you do with a pickup truck, that a 10-wheeler won't fit, you can't turn it around, you get it
That's-
stuck in place?
The truck we're waiting on right now.
Yeah, that's the
That's what that
in-town
is,
route.
that's the in-town route.
And even a 10-wheeler can fit down most of that, it's just, it's tight, and you really gotta pay attention, but, yeah.
So the truck
in-town
we're waiting
is
on,
tight.
when's it coming?
I spoke to them, it's supposed to be in the shop this week, because this was last week, so they said 3 to 4 weeks on the build time of putting the truck together. They have all the parts, they just gotta put them together and then paint, and then we get it.
And I was talking to the salesman and also Manchester. I want to get a copy of, before we buy any more trucks.
I have a picture of it with nothing on it.
I want to get a copy of the contract they did. They went through Freightliner and they went through 10
Yeah,
towns
that's,
and all.
so that's when it
and all
showed
that
up in
stuff.
one there to Freightliner.
And
Yeah.
somehow they did up their own agreement where Freightliner had to have it at Tenco August 1st. Tenco had to be done October 1st. Tenco still ain't done with Manchester's truck. It's $100 a day, and it was $18,000 there in the whole of the city of Manchester for. I want something like that in
I
our
do too.
contracts.
Because this 17 truck
That's
is
doing
now,
ridiculous.
when we were supposed to have it October,
Yeah.
it's now February.
We told
Pushing
October.
February.
I also told Seth, we're gonna get prices on some of the stuff that we get from this body company and possibly look elsewhere.
Is that Donovan or Tenco?
No, that's,
Fairfields.
HP Fairfield.
You gonna look at Donovan this time?
We do a lot of business with Donovan, but we're gonna, there's a couple places right over Maine we're gonna look into.
Is there a
So we
Maine-
have different options, we can go based on price.
Is there a main Freightliner
Oh, yeah.
dealership?
Yes.
See, it's not Freightliner that's holding us up,
No.
it's HP Fairfield, which puts the dump card on it and
And they have the state contract? Do we have to use Fairfield?
Well, for this truck we have to, but
Right.
no. They usually give us Donovan and Fairfield. Fairfield was the cheaper of the two for this truck, I believe.
Tenco was, for the
The
106.
one we're waiting on.
Yes.
They were the cheapest because this 2015 we went through Donovan. I think they were a week late with it on the one we have now that we got in 2015. They were
Yeah,
like a
I think
week
at the
late
rate we're
with it.
going now, we might get the 18 trucks before we get the 17.
Yeah, we won't
That's what
use
it
it.
feels like.
No.
I tried getting the price on the 106 for the bodies through Donovan, and Donovan, their vendors don't sell that equipment that small. So they couldn't do the job.
But they can do these.
They can do these are bigger trucks, yeah.
You two are both gonna be at the deliberative session to answer specific technical questions about the trucks if
All
necessary.
right, and I'm gonna be there to sell.
I just think there's questions that these guys might be like, but I sure is.
No. And me and Seth are both gonna be there. He's gonna have these packages, which have all the specs. what they'll carry for weight, the size of the
I would also bring that
plow.
inventory thing that shows when we replaced the last trucks and the year and, you know, how old they are and hours or mileage, and
Yeah.
I think that's good information
Yeah,
to
we're
have
gonna
as
go
well.
through all of that, the mileage, eventually I'm gonna add to that for all the equipment, even the billy goat that we use for chipping and sucking leaves and stuff.
Yeah, the budget committee wants to do it, wants to update the CIP this summer, and so that'll be a good exercise because we need all that data for the CIP anyway, so.
Yeah. I've started working on a CIP strictly for us on when we're gonna replace, or like to replace stuff and industry standards on when most other towns are doing it. But, yeah, we're gonna be there for all of that. But I know you guys had questions at the last meeting, at the end of it, so I figured I'd bring staff and let them sit here, so if you had any questions, you can hit them with them.
Do you have a plan in place in case you don't get these 2 trucks?
Keep babying the other 2 trucks.
Have they been down for repairs this winter
Yes.
already?
Yes.
Both of them or just one, or?
Both, yeah. We had the front frame break on the 2004, and the 2002, we just put a new conveyor chain in.
So when they were talking about getting the new trucks, I sat with them and the freight line guy and the woman who does the leasing, because I wanted some leasing information, and this is what the freight line guy said, you know, I point blank asked him, if we can't get 2 trucks, which one should we replace this year? And he said it's a crapshoot, neither one of these trucks is, he said whichever one you replace, you can count on the other one going down.
So they're not the same?
One's a
Two
4,
different trucks?
one's a 2002, one's a 2004.
They're both
That's what
Freightliner.
we're replacing.
No, but the new ones.
No, they were.
The ones we're looking at this year are bigger
Same.
than this one. This is the in-town truck that we got approved for last year that we're
But
waiting
the
on.
2 new trucks that we're buying, ten-wheelers,
Yeah.
are they 2 identical trucks?
Yeah, they'd be
Yeah.
2 the same?
Yeah,
so
it's
all
just the
same
upgraded
specs.
version because they don't make that model anymore.
Yes.
Do you need equipment that heavy to do the long ones other than sanding?
When we're out on, like ditching the roads and stuff like we do, yeah.
It's
Within 45 minutes, you got 1 10-wheeler loaded. So you
So
bring
they're
2
multi-
10-wheelers out there.
So it's multi-purpose?
Oh, these, and that's part of the reason why these trucks get beat so bad. They're run year round.
Yeah, they aren't just snow fighters, they're every day.
Okay.
And even though we're not hauling our own sand anymore, these last summer, we kept swapping out trucks. We run this one this week, run that one next week. And like I said, we tried running 2 trucks when manpower allowed
Okay,
for it.
first.
Yeah.
These things
Oh,
go
I know.
nonstop.
And the sand is bed sand, so the bed is, we don't have an external sander on the back of them?
No, it's live floor, is what they call it, live body. The chain's built right in. The nice thing is the newer models that we're getting now, the 2 we're replacing, the chain is actually built into the body. So if the chain breaks, you gotta drag it all the way from the front to the back. These new ones, they go in from the bottom, they bolt in, they're stainless steel.
Yep.
Chain breaks, you lift the cart, you drop the whole thing, change it out and you throw it back up. It's probably half the time to fix a chain or a bearing than it is on these old ones.
Much less of a headache, you can take it out and it's in front of you instead of doing some yoga up underneath the
Yeah, I
truck.
wanna make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck and people understand that this is the newer equipment and we need these. Okay.
The
I mean,
body.
I usually post when the trucks go down. I haven't had time these last couple storms, but, I mean, they're all, I won't say they're down every storm, but almost guaranteed one of them is going down almost every storm.
No,
And
it's-
if the town, if the town decides we're not going with them, we're gonna try to hold them together for as long as we can with duct tape and mechanics wire until they finally crap
Maybe
out.
we should put them together right the first time. If they break it down every time, are they breaking the same thing?
No,
Okay.
no, it's,
You
it's.
can only glue together a piece so many times.
Actually,
I'm busting this
can you
joke.
bring a list of the repairs you've done to each of those trucks for the last last year?
Last year.
Like last winter and this
Seth's got a
winter?
notebook every time he does
And what
something,
we
he writes
spent
it
and
down.
what you guys spent on it.
And not just spent, but like labor. I mean, if
Labor.
it's if that's labor intensive and you're having to weld frames and, just getting you off the road during a plowing event is not cost effective, so.
No, especially when your route takes you 3.5 hours, if you gotta stretch that out between another truck, it really
So it's a
makes-
hydraulic lift bed that pushes the sand over?
Yeah.
It's that bed, right?
Yes.
And that's identical thing as what we have on the 2015. What's nice with that, the chains on the driver's side, so it's thrown right in front of the rear tires on the driver's side, so you can watch your pattern. But also, when you start getting low, these other ones are like a V-bottom. The sand sticks to the side, you gotta pick it up and shake it, and this one here, you just tip the whole inside of the cart up and it slides it right down on top of the chain. There's no way, you can run that thing absolutely empty and have maybe a wheelbarrow load of sand left in it at the end when you're done.
I think these are the ones the same Maine DOT uses.
Yeah.
Maintenance is real easy, they all got remote grease fittings, they
Yeah.
got stainless steel pins in them, it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That 2015, we haven't had an ounce of problem with that. We love
Sweet.
that truck. That and the other advantage is all the newer trucks are coming out automatic, less driver fatigue. It's enough, you gotta pull all these levers, but you don't have to grab that other one to grab another gear. Mike Laffey, this is his first year in that 2015 automatic, and he said it's 90 days. He says, I love that truck. I said, why do you think when we got it, I took it?
you have more time to focus on what you have out in the other lanes,
Right.
instead of shifting to another gear.
But yes, we will be at deliberative session, and we'll bring all those stats and what we've done.
And you're gonna fluid film this every 3 or 4 months?
We fluid film them in the spring and the summer, the spring and the fall, right after the season and right before the season starts. We do pressure wash them as long as it's not 20 below.
Yeah.
I've pressure washed trucks at 15 degrees. You gotta really hump at it, but, and it does kind of come in as an ice cube, but you can knock a majority of the salt off.
All right,
Good.
good enough, good job. Any other questions? All set, Con?
Yep.
Good enough, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're both going home and going to bed.
Careful.
I want this job?
Also, if I can
I got nothing.
ask, Kelley, I'll talk to you tomorrow, actually.
Okay. I'll be here.
I don't think you guys look like you were about ready to go to bed too.
Come on.
Yep.
Come on.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Me too.
Okay, we have the deliberate session warrant articles that we need to choose on who's going to speak on them. It looks to me that we start at Article 8. And I guess, do we just want to pick which one you want?
The chairman should handle all this.
Sure.
That's what I think.
Sounds
I
good to
don't
me.
mind reading them.
The moderator reads it.
Yeah, he pretty much reads it, and then what we do is, one makes a motion, second makes the second motion, and then we kind of give an explanation of what it is, but most of the time, it's like I
And
said,
usually
we
it's
always
written
direct
down
it.
for us anyway.
It's always written down. Is that gonna be
The
the same
explanation.
thing?
I've never written anything down for you, so it didn't come from me. Sorry.
So it must have came from,
Oh.
that must have came from other, but, what we mean by that is, the former administrator would give us, kind of
Background.
on notes, background, like you do on the budget sheet.
Okay.
She kind of gives us a background just so that we make sure that we know exactly why it's $190,000 for the highway truck.
Okay.
Um,
So kind of like I did before, like what's in the capital
Exactly, just
reserve
give us,
fund?
just give us a couple of notes that
Yeah.
keeps us on top
So
of
did
it.
you like the way I did it, like for the, before I did it in red, like italics at the bottom, so you know that that's not actually part of it, that's your notes?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much, I think it's fine, and like I said before, it's pretty self-explanatory. When I get to these things, I expect, like you just said, the highway department to be in that audience to explain what they want. We're agreeing on it, it's not what I want, it's what they need. So.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put, like, especially for the first two, they're all about the trucks, I'm not gonna put any technical truck information.
And
I'm just
no.
gonna put, here's what's in the capital reserve fund, so we're
Yeah.
raising 190.
Exactly.
It's the board's intention, if this passes, that you'll take money
Please do.
already in there, you'll spend the 209, and then, just little notes.
Okay, so I don't have a problem, I guess, if you wanna make it just easier and we just do it that way, or do you wanna read something yourself? You make the call. It's pretty simple.
Well, when the moderator reads the
He reads,
warrant, why
he
don't you
reads
just
the
say
warrant.
so moved?
And what we
And then you
do,
say second it, and then
We do
you
that.
open it for discussion
and then
we do
usually
that.
we give an explanation.
Yeah,
on,
I usually do the fire.
Correct.
I know I usually do the
You
fire.
usually do the fire, you do the heritage stuff and that
Yeah.
stuff. I do like, the
PD. 'cause
PD,
don't-
it's
you do
kind
the
of like
ones that
between
you-
liaison.
Right,
You know,
that's
you
the-
kind of do what you liaison,
That
but,
makes sense.
basically, there's really
Then I
not
don't
a.
have to do any of them.
You're not a liaison to anyone?
School board
um,
and the budget committee.
You can second everything.
Exactly, I
You
can
can be
second
the
everything.
seconder.
I think we can float it for now. You good with that? Float it? I mean, I think we're all set, and if,
You guys have
maybe,
done this long
maybe
enough.
maybe I'll just say, Connie, would you take care of that one?
No.
All right,
I wanna know what I'm gonna
let's divvy
take
them
care
up.
of.
Let's divvy them up so there's no awkward dead silence.
Yeah.
Not one of
right.
us will step in. Who does 1 through 7?
That's planning board?
That's the planning department. That's nothing for us.
Do they get even discussed at deliberative session? Because they're
Yes.
not
Go to
money?
deliberative session.
Hmm?
I said I would go to deliberative session, so
Oh.
I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah,
Do the,
they do
Okay,
get
so-
Who does it?
discussed.
so
Well,
the chairman of the planning board needs to be ready.
he is.
He is.
Steve, he
Steve
takes
will.
care of
He
it.
will take
Yes,
care
he
of one
will.
He
through
takes care
seven.
of
He will.
it. Yeah, all the
Or-
questions are directed to him.
yep,
Rick Sager's there too, and I know
Correct.
he
Yes.
helped him with the legalese of the, so,
And if there's a question with that, that's
Yeah.
how that works.
so basically 2 through 7 are the planning
Correct.
board.
And we start
Chairman.
right at 8 and go through 8 through 24.
All right,
Or
well,
25.
so can we just jot down that Connie Twombley's making the motion and Lino Avellani is seconded on 8, same on 9. I'll write you some notes. On 10,
what's 8 and 9?
those are the highway trucks.
Oh,
You don't wanna do those? Oh, that's right, you
No.
said you do
I
fire.
do fire.
Okay, so you're gonna make the motion and Lino's gonna second it on 8 and 9. So Charlie Edwards, and then 10 is changing the purpose of the bridge. Connie, you wanna move that
Sure.
one? So
Alright, Connie can do
Connie
that one.
and Lino would second. And then 11 is to actually put money into the bridge.
We'll leave that to Connie. She's right on the bridge.
Okay,
All right.
just stuck her on the bridge.
Yep,
How about the
30.
ambulance? We'll let Lino handle the ambulance. You want Connie to handle the ambulance? All
I
right.
don't care.
Connie
I
can
will.
handle the ambulance.
And then,
And the fire truck. That Connie,
Yes,
she might as
yes,
well
sir.
just do them all.
Shut up, in here.
The rest are all yours,
Yeah,
Tony.
okay. Let's see. The,
heavy equipment, so that would be you.
You have to practice for next year.
So
Okay.
14 is you, Lino's gonna,
14 with me.
15 is the invasive species.
We'll let Lino do
no.
that.
Lino's
Lino is invasive.
invasive species, and who's
Oh.
gonna second it?
What number is that?
15.
15.
I'll second it.
Okay, Connie's gonna second it. 16 is the police cruiser.
I can handle
That's
that one.
Charlie is the liaison to that. Lino can
Then
I'm
second.
Lino
not
can do the
seconding that.
technical.
Lino's
Lino
doing-
has seconded.
Okay. Lino can do 17 and I can second it.
Charlie Edwards is gonna second it.
We're gonna let Lino do 18 too.
Town hall improvement.
Yep.
That's easy.
Mhm.
Appropriate to the, I'll do
Yep, highways.
highway
Yep.
on that to 19
Mm-hmm.
and.
Who's seconding that, Lino?
Yep,
I'll be happy to move Article 20.
okay.
You will?
Why don't we let Lino do Article 20?
Yep.
Connie, are you okay with seconding that one?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
I'm in favor of those.
We can answer
18,
questions.
21.
How about doing that one too, Lino?
Sure.
The Article 21, you'd probably have a better idea.
Assessing statistics.
Explain that if somebody asks a question.
Yeah,
Who's gonna
Tony
second?
can do the,
Please,
Wait,
that's
who's
something.
seconding 21?
I will.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Charlie will.
Charlie Edwards is gonna second that one. 22 is the Greater Wakefield
We'll
Resource
let Connie
Center.
do that one.
Yep,
Connie Twombley and Lino can second that one. 23 is the operating budget.
I'll do that one, and I'll do the remaining.
Laney,
okay, good.
Charlie
With
Edwards.
that, I can do 24 if you want, Charlie.
You wanna do 24?
Yeah, that's turntable.
All right,
Lino
Oh, yeah.
Avellani.
Yep.
Lena will do
Who's
turntable.
gonna second that one?
I will.
Okay.
Connie Twombley.
And
Okay.
Article 25
It's
is, what
not really a.
So,
the hell was that? Article 25.
any other business?
Any
Oh,
other
okay.
business, but you don't,
No,
because you're
that's fine.
Senate bill, you can't really have any other business, but I don't know
All right.
why.
Are we
But-
expecting any, I think that, is the time closed for petition warrant articles, or is that?
Petition warrant articles can come in until February 3rd,
That's the night of the deliberative session.
2nd then.
And is sign
Must
up,
be 2nd.
Not money.
Oh, not money articles.
is
Oh, no, wait,
sign
was
up,
the end of that January?
One of
January
them
5th and
closes.
January 9th, never mind.
Okay.
sign up start today?
24th,
Sign up
that
for
day,
what?
and
Today.
end February 2nd or 3rd.
Sign up for if you're gonna
Second.
run.
Oh, really?
Starts today.
It opened today, closes on like the 2nd, which is like next Friday.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right.
We have a warrant, I'd like you to sign 5 copies of that, so
Okay.
we can post
Warrant of what?
the town warrant, what you just went,
Yeah,
what you
just
just
what
went
we
over.
just
went
These
through.
are all the warrant articles that you've all voted on, that the
72.
committee has voted on, there are 5 originals.
Let's just
Will
sign
require
up
to be posted
before we move on.
on Monday.
Did you bring the budgets in for Lino to sign?
Oh, gosh, go get those right now while they're signing.
Yeah,
The phone is
because we
right
need-
here. Excuse me. Thanks, Ed.
So there's also, this is the default budget that you need to sign. That
This is
needs
the
to be-
one we approved.
Yes, and it needs to be posted with the warrant.
Thank you.
And then the budget committee needs to sign the budget, and I need 7 out of the 12 members to sign, and I've only got 3 right now, so. Lino, yes, Lino, if you could sign that, because you're the,
Yeah, this is just the Lino file.
How am I gonna fit that in there?
That's kind of tight.
Yes, it's kind of tight as right. Yikes.
Well,
Oh, wow.
You
Worked
finished?
out good. That's the first one.
Perfect signature.
On behalf of just all these.
Oh,
I'll leave
Doesn't this
it
have to
there,
be
David,
in,
if you
doesn't this have
just
to be
sign it.
in by a certain day?
Has to be posted by the 29th, it's already on the portal.
it's gonna go posted by Monday.
oh.
You gotta run out of ink.
I know it. To re-ink it. We don't have to sign that. We're not on the budget committee. So Kelly, when you write that up,
Uh-huh.
you're gonna put Lino moved and Connie seconded,
Uh-huh.
so I'll know when I'm supposed to
Yeah.
second something.
I sure will.
So,
I'll put it in red with my notes too,
Yep.
so you can see it at the bottom.
okey-dokey, that'd be great.
Yeah, it should be pretty simple. They weren't
Yeah,
nothing too dramatic. Like,
no.
there was a few years that we had to really have some good definitions and stuff. so.
Mm-hmm.
You are welcome.
Okay,
What is next?
well,
So, as part of the building permit process, we have what's called a local approval of septic construction, a local approval of septic operation. I'd like to change just the name of those forms to local notification. So, I think it's a misnomer because we don't have the authority to approve local septic, or septic plans at all. The state of New Hampshire is the
Mhm.
approving authority. It's common in towns to do a local approval if your setbacks are more stringent than the state's, because you're checking to make sure it meets your local setbacks. our setbacks are not more stringent than their state, it's the same. So the only reason we get this notification is to make sure that the house number and the map and lot number are correct when it goes to the state, so that when it comes back, we can properly identify it and put it in the appropriate map and lot folder. So I just, basically, this is just a name change to the form, so that we're not misleading people that we're actually approving their septic. We're just saying, we understand you've got a septic design that's part of your building permit, and you're notifying us properly that that is a part. Now, I would also like to do away with the 25, we used to get a one-time $25 fee to do that. And basically, all we're doing is checking the house number and the map and lot number. I don't feel like we're gonna lose a ton of money, and I don't feel like it was so labor intensive that, you know, people are gonna be doing work we're not getting. And if anything, I think that there are probably other inspections that we should be doing, that if we needed to make up that $25, we should be charging for inspections rather than just checking a house number and a map and lot number.
I'm in agreement.
Makes sense.
Good call.
So basically, I'm just changing the title on a form.
Yep.
And I'm good with that. Do we have a motion on the table to allow Kelley to,
We need to see the form before we vote on it, is that?
it's truly just a signature,
I just don't have one.
it's,
I might, let me see if
I don't even think we need it.
And we're waiving the fee, right?
We'll waive the fee. I
So
agree.
We want to make sure that it's worded correctly and everything else before we do it.
What, you wanna see a form, you wanna see a
Yeah,
sample?
I just want to see what we're voting on, that's all.
Okay, I think I can grab one that's, I don't have any blank ones, but I can grab one that's filled out.
Okay. Yeah, to me, I think
I'm happy to waive fees.
it's
People aren't gonna-
nonsense to even have, but it allows them to make sure that the numbers are correct, that's all.
And isn't the cost of a building permit included, cost of a building permit includes the cost of the inspections to have along with that permit, right?
Correct. In that building, when you do a new house, and it's probably an average of $800 to $1,200 for a permit, I would say that $25 should be covered in that,
Okay,
yeah.
but we shouldn't be charging extra for the
Things
following.
that, correct, and she said it perfectly. It's truly not a job to look at two numbers to just make sure they correspond together, and then it's sent to the state, and then the state sent it back, then they're able to put it in a file where it belongs. Like she said, we do not do any inspections of the septic, it's all state approvals.
Yes.
So, here's our local approval.
Yeah, we don't want that.
I think I just want to change from local approval to local notification for construction. So all they're doing is notifying us.
Now, it's just a courtesy call to pretty much just to notify.
Are you okay with that?
Yep,
And,
Yeah, and waiving the $25.
yes.
Yep,
Are we prorating it back to a certain day or from here on out?
I'd say just from here on out.
yeah, I don't think we have a ton
I don't think
pending.
we have.
I just, it's just one of the things that have kind of come to light, and I think it's misleading,
It
and I
is.
don't want that
Yeah.
responsibility.
Local approval, yeah.
All right, so do I have a motion on the table to waive the fee and change the name to notification
There's a certain date too that we stop waiving that fee.
as of the 24th of 2018 in January?
So move, Mr. Chairman?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. My note said that we received a check for $28,000. Are we supposed to mention that on this particular part we're doing?
No, it's new business.
Yeah, I guess we could.
That's where we are, right? We're at,
No,
I
we
had it
haven't
as
done the
first, but I
CRF.
don't know which way you want to
We
say
have
it. but-
dog fines.
We haven't done the dog fines.
We can do the dog fines first. So
All right,
I brought the dog fine issue to you last year, kind of after the whole dog fine thing. We're coming into dog fine season. And Dave Landry is the one that suggested that. We have enabling legislation under 466:14 that we can add a kind of a surcharge of up to $7 for the cost of, I don't know, unlicensed dogs, I guess, tracking down unlicensed dogs. So if you look at 466:14, the cost of service shall not exceed $7 and may be recovered by the city or town in addition to the amount of the civil forfeit. So there's, after a certain time, it's like a $5, $10, $25 warrant for, how far you go beyond the date. And then this $7 is just kind of meant to be like a service charge for tracking the people down. I think it helps defray the cost of Dave Landry's salary for doing this, and also, the work that Val does. Val sends out reminder letters, and, you asked me, I brought it up last year, but we had gotten kind of by the dog season, and you said to remind you again this year, so I am reminding you.
I will tell you that there's pending legislation on this as well. I don't know what the outcome will be, but there is a couple bills in that deals with licensing dogs
And fees.
and fees.
So is it not worth doing this because it's gonna change, or should we do it for this season and
I don't know.
wait and see how it all shakes out?
I don't know what the, I don't know if it's effective July 1st of this year or if it'll be effective this year. So it depends on how it comes out of committee and on the floor. Or if it comes out of committee. So there might be some changes to this coming down the road.
Well, I mean, when the law changes, the law changes, but I think that,
We can change it then,
We can
right?
change it.
right, and it's kind of labor
Just
intensive
agreement.
right now, so, I think I would support Dave Landry's.
Decision this year? Me too.
Yep,
Motion on the table?
So,
So-
just,
second.
Okay, discussion?
is we're moving it to $7 or is $7 is a new fee
It's a new fee,
on top of whatever is?
the forfeiture is. And the forfeiture is a sliding base. I'm sorry, I'm not up on that.
And there's dogs,
It-
male or female or.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's like $6.50 if it's neutered, and $9.50 it's unspayed, and then if it goes past a certain date, it's like $10 if it's late too, and then it's $25 after. So you get certain dates to do it by, and I think there's a 30-day grace period as well, so.
It's $25 when they have to go out with the forfeiture letter. That's $25.
Right.
But up until that time happens, like the month of June, it's a certain fee. And then July it goes up, and when they have to send that, it's $25.
Well, I think as it stands right now, the taxpayers pay for that with no recourse, the administrative fee, to get back the administrative fee. It's just a flat 25.
The taxpayer pays for that?
Yeah, they pay for the envelopes, they pay for all the service, they pay the ink, the paper.
That's what the
the whole
$25
thing.
goes towards.
That's the fine. I don't know where that goes.
The fine goes to general fund, right?
No, doesn't it go to the animal control officer, his budget?
No,
No?
no, it would come into the general fund.
Okay.
But it's a wash against what he
Well, that's
costs
what I'm
us to
saying.
do this
Right.
work.
Yeah, I would
Right.
say it was a war.
That's what I'm saying, the paper.
I mean, it's not gonna cover his whole salary, but,
No.
it's kind of putting the onus on people who are keeping their dogs unlicensed as opposed to everybody else. It just collects a little bit from the people who are creating the work.
Okay,
Okay,
you good with it?
good thing.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so C was a new item. So today, somebody came in and redeemed a tax acquired property. So I just need you guys, and they paid with a bank check, and they paid all the taxes, interest, fees, and also the 10% penalty, because it was not a primary place of abode. So we have a bank check, and I just need you guys to make a motion and authorize us to send it to town attorney to have the reverse deed done so that we can send it back, do the redemption deed back to the original owner.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
On that note, awesome, congratulations.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
When we have that deed, I'll just send you out a note hoping you can stop by to sign it so we can.
Okay.
Yep.
Release
hold
it.
them.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, they're excited. We have 30 days to turn it around, but they're excited to get it done and
Yep, I can understand.
No, it's great that they actually, they did it without asking any favors. So that's a
Yeah.
great example for everybody to,
Follow the
follow.
rules.
yep. if
There you
follow the
go.
rules.
Mhm.
Okay, we have a capital reserve fund expenditures, technology fund. Technology fund is amount requested is $400. Current balance is $1,402.14. This is AccuFund upgrade. Can I have a motion on the table to accept the $400 request?
So moved?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. I have a highway department, a highway truck. We have a current balance of $187,001.70. The amount requested is $159,688. Purchase of a Freightliner M2106. See attached for details. Do I have a motion on the table to buy a new truck?
Just give them a little bit of background, because this was done in,
so you've already approved the purchasing the truck. You ordered it in, I don't even remember, this summer. What's the date on the purchase order?
And this must be the red one that he was talking about, the
Yes,
smaller
exactly.
version. This ain't the 210 wheelers.
No.
Wow.
So this is us writing the check so it's ready to pick up, because we're gonna hold the check until the truck is ready, but I don't want them to call and say, come get your truck, and we have to wait a week or 2 weeks to get a check out, so.
Yeah.
Yep, we're actually writing the check and then they'll tell us when it's ready to be picked up. We'll get the insurance binder on it before we go get it, and then deliver them a check and have our truck. And I think you heard him say 4 to 6 weeks,
it's 4 months, 3 months later already.
you know, it's annoying.
Mr. Chairman, I move 159688.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Great. Looks like Shelley Winchenbach is talking to us again.
No, just to tell us what channels they got rid of again. I feel like that's all that is kind of notification.
RLTV, so that used to be Real TV.
Yep. That would be the Conway station. Is that real TV that they did all
No,
the
it's a new,
the food things up there?
no, it's a new startup, I think, over out of Maine.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're going over the air instead of having to pay the cable rates.
Well, thank you, Shelley, for updating us on what you're taking from us.
The price is going down accordingly.
Yeah,
I just got a notice I'm going up.
okay.
My what?
I don't see anybody jumping to ask us anything in the
Oh, we
audience.
missed Ed tonight.
I see Ed's not here.
Oh, Ed's here.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah,
note
but
holder.
the wrong Ed.
Oh,
That number.
that's it.
It's not the Ed that we
He's not the wrong Ed, he's our Ed.
He's
I know,
our Ed.
yeah, I shouldn't have
It's
said
Mr.
wrong.
Ed.
Mr. Ed.
Special ed.
Special Ed. Yeah. Okay, good enough. We have a administrator update.
Okay, so, I'm gonna give you an update on the basement.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what the last update on the basement was, and I'm gonna
It
just
was
tell
4
you.
pages long.
Looks dry down there anyway.
Yeah, so, Albright is done. I think they spent maybe 4 days here, because they were here that entire weekend. Toni and I were over here on Saturday. They set off the alarm. I got a call at home. So the carpet is gone, the 2 feet of sheetrock is cut out, any place where there was insulation, the insulation is pulled out. We have had a hand throwing stuff into the dumpster. We have one desk down there that is swollen that we're gonna have to get rid of, in a bookcase. I think the rest of the furniture is in pretty good shape. It needs to be, Clorox wiped down. I had a contractor in to put everything back. His price was kind of high. The Insurance adjuster did not care for it, so the insurance adjuster gave me the name of another contractor who is coming in tomorrow at 1 o'clock to look at it, and will try to get me a quote early next week. If that one comes back high as well, then I'm gonna go back to the appraiser and say, you work it out with one of them. I don't really care which one, make it work. The IT people were in today. They have given us a whole new computer system for David. That's all set up, and he's squatting in the tax collector's office. So I've had to kind of make it work here. Victor and Bridget from the building department are in kind of the annex of our office. David, the building inspector, is in Angie's office. Cindy is still in her office, but all the records from the closet are in there. I've moved some of them up to my office. The dumpster's still here, and the pod for storage is still here. I'm waiting for the plowing operations to slow down a little bit so that the highway department can give us a hand putting stuff on dollies and taking it to the pod, because I need to get that room emptied out more before any contractor can really work in there. Angie and I and Toni moved the big, huge copy machine up here today.
Wow.
You moved it?
Yeah, the three of us did.
Wow.
Right now.
We don't need no stinking men. We can do it.
Oh, it's
I
part of the
guess they
He-Man,
did it.
He-Man men haters, huh?
We're capable. Well,
I
because I didn't
guess
want to
so.
bother the highway. It's heavy, but we just kind of drove it onto the
Oh,
elevator.
you just pig-headed? I understand.
We drove it onto the elevator and we're. So when I say we manhandled it up there, I think it manhandled us a little, but we got.
You got it. Yeah, I noticed it up here, so
We
I.
drove it up here.
That's pretty
But
good. I
then
had to-
we did, so in all our conversation with IT and with the copy machine company, they never told us it's a specialized plug. So now we have an electrician coming to outfit that plug tomorrow. There is a data port up here, so we should be able to get it running pretty smoothly. Again, IT has replaced, I think, 3 keyboards, an entire computer CPU, and 3 battery backups that basically it poured water into. I think that's where I am. There does not appear to be any mold down there, which I'm very happy about.
Good.
Yeah.
And
No,
it's
it looks
dry.
good. Looks
It's
clean
dry.
and dry and looks really.
Yeah, I think it's ready for the contractor. It's just getting one in here now. And I did want to touch base with you, Charlie, about what we want to do out in the foyer. If we need to order a cabinet heater for out there, or we
I
should
did-
probably get on that before
I do have a quote coming for that.
Okay, all right, good, because I'd like to
Yeah,
get
as a
on
matter
that
of fact, I
before.
talked about it today. And I asked them to make a quote, to put it down onto paper, no matter, but, you know, it's not, I don't believe it's gonna be over the limit of the thing, but it will be fairly expensive due to the fact of getting the line sets and everything to this spot from way down inside, so there's a little work to it, so it's, don't be.
It'll be a propane heater. Or will
I
it be
can't-
electric?
I can't answer that.
Okay,
I don't know, I haven't been totally informed on which direction they thought was appropriate for us.
okay.
But they're
I just-
making it up so that I can give it to you.
Yeah, I just want to get on it before we have another 2 weeks
Oh,
at 20
100%.
below zero.
And I'm not kidding,
More
I
damage.
talked about it at 9:30 this morning.
Okay, good. So that's my update on the basement. I would like, if possible, to not wait 2 weeks till your next meeting to give somebody the go-ahead. So if I can get a price next week, I may,
I don't
notice
see
a
why you
meeting.
need our approval for anything. It's the insurance company that's handling the money part of it, right? We don't have, we're
Yeah,
not
we have
trying to
$1,000,
choose.
we're paying $1,000 deduct, well, we probably have 2,000, because there's 2 separate claims, the one from the heating pipe on Sunday night and the one from the sprinklers, so there'll be $2,000 deductibles, but everything other than that, and, you know, they don't have the requirements that we have. It does not need to go out to bid, it does not need to be insured,
Yeah,
they don't have to be
they're the ones that
insured.
decide
You
on
know,
the money.
I'm holding our stuff, and we will get certificates of insurance, but the insurance company, he has a number in his head, and if they're more than that, then they have to itemize it and tell them why. One of the things that I changed out down there, and I'm going to fight with the insurance adjuster about it if it comes to that, is instead of doing the one-piece carpet, because of the cutouts in that place, there'll be a lot of waste. I want them to spend the extra money, and they only thought it'd be maybe $100 or $200 more for the carpet squares, because they're rubber backed. And the remediation company noted that if we'd had those carpet squares, those can be taken up and dried if they have the rubber backing.
Yeah.
And we would have only had to remove the ones that were damaged.
And that's what we did down, and actually, I think it was cheaper.
I think he thought it might be a wash because of the waste you get with,
Yep.
like I said, all our cutouts into offices that you
Yeah,
can
because we
just.
went that route down at the.
But I want a couple extra boxes too. That way if one gets torn or stained, or then I can just take a carpet tile up and put a new one down.
That way you don't, if they go out of, the color gets discontinued,
Yeah.
at least you got an extra box, you gotta get an
Yeah.
extra box in.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I'm really holding firm on. And I don't, honestly, the adjuster's been great. I don't
I
think
don't
I'll
see
get
the problem
pushed
with
back on that.
Nope.
They don't make that blue, and we're keeping the blue in Cindy's office, so I'm probably gonna go to some kind of like neutral grayish color. And I believe they'll pay to paint the entire wall, because you can't really just put 2 feet of sheetrock in and then, so that is the plan, to match the paint and redo the whole thing.
Good.
Greater Wakefield Resource Center gave me their quarterly report. If that is anything you would like to
Yeah.
take a look at.
I looked
I
at it.
think I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, they have a new administrator down there, and she seems to be staying on top of the quarterly report, so I'm happy with that. I didn't see anything that looked
I didn't
weird or
either.
outstanding
No,
on
but
that.
it's kinda cool that they actually have this, I mean, that's good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's part of the contract, they're supposed to give it to us quarterly. There's times where, I think their board looks at it first, so sometimes I get a little late, but it also has the minutes of one of their meetings with it, so it's kinda interesting to know what they're up against and stay up on that. I didn't know if you wanted to discuss, it? Oh, okay, go ahead.
On the office rental, I see Gaffney Library, that is for the GED, Moose Mountain and Watershed. Do we give money to the Watershed people every year, and are they using that money to rent office space in Greater Wakefield Resource Center?
I don't think so.
We give money to.
They rent it down there, they rent the space.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
give money to our.
Is that what Watershed is? Is that what that is? or-
Watershed is the Wakefield Water Alliance. Wakefield.
Acton Wakefield.
Acton Water
Yeah.
Alliance.
So are they using the taxpayer money we give them to rent this from us?
Who uses what taxpayers' money? Which one?
Watershed.
We don't give, do we give them, we give them, oh, we do.
Is it 20,000?
15?
15.
It's 15.
So
Yeah, is it
so
another
what your
agency?
question is it appropriate that they use that money to pay for rental?
Yeah.
Well, they gotta have, well, I don't know,
Cost of business.
what's that?
It's the cost of their doing business.
I
Yeah,
think-
their executive board is
Yeah.
separate from us. We don't,
Tell me what you're
They're
thinking,
not
I'm
paying
not
us,
quite
they're
sure
paying
if
the
I
resource
understand
they're
where
paying
you're
the
headed.
resource center.
Do I think
executive board.
I mean, everybody, it needs an office, is that the only office they got? Is down at the
As far as I
Wake
know, yeah.
thing?
I guess
So,
so.
I mean, they gotta pay it somewhere, and whether it comes out of ours or Acton's money that they donate, I mean, it's not just ours, I don't believe, it's everybody's.
I think it's a question we should ask because it's $7,900.
7,900 for the rent?
Yeah, for Moose Mountain and Watershed, so. And Moose Mountain must pay a certain fee and then Watershed must pay a different fee. I just wanna make sure that we're not paying, using taxpayer money to pay ourselves rent in the building that we already
It
have.
doesn't come to us.
Yeah. That's
They
not
don't
us.
have money in our operating budget. They have an executive board that runs that building.
That
They pay
money
their own
pays for the
utility bills.
the rental, it pays for everything in that building.
It pays
It
for their
doesn't come to
utility
us.
bills. The
So
only
we're not
thing we
buying
do
it
is
from
we plow the
ourselves, I don't
parking lot.
think.
We plow the parking lot and we take care of outside capital projects. But that money doesn't come to us. It
Well,
runs
let's
their-
say we're not,
it pays their
we're not
light bill.
renting from Wakefield. A town of
Alright,
Wakefield.
okay.
Yeah, this is the cost of overhead. They're paying their heat and their electricity, and so I'm assuming that this is their share of what it costs to run the building.
But now I understand where you were headed with that. And that makes sense.
And liability, is it a town building that they're operating for us, or is it a complete, who owns the building?
We own the building, but.
Do we pay the insurance?
I think we insure it as a town building for fire and theft, but if they've got, individual stuff in there, then they're responsible for the inside of the building, we're so if the thing burns down, we would rebuild it, because it's our insurance. But if something got damaged on the inside, they should be covering that too.
Their board is covered separately too, they have their own liability insurance for their
Okay, good
organization.
questions.
Yeah, for that executive
Mhm.
board, right? I think they call it an executive committee or executive board that runs the place.
And I was wondering how much and where in this are the bonuses for the employees?
The bonuses?
Because they give them Christmas bonuses.
What?
Yep. And
They do.
I didn't see where it was listed here.
I didn't know that.
Can you repeat that again, please?
During their meeting, somebody made a motion to give the staff Christmas bonus checks in the same amount as last year. So I was just wondering what kind of bonuses and where it came from. And the final thing I have is where the $13,000 goes.
And what's the 13,000?
It looks like the net income on the P&L.
Okay.
It's theirs.
So-
It's that executive committee's. We don't get it.
So that must go into their general fund. They must have a general fund that pays for all these expenditures.
Well, we give them $30,500. Just questions regular people would ask.
No, but that's, I like the one just before that one,
Bonuses?
the bonuses. Yeah, I'm a little disturbed with that one.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I mean, if we're paying that bonus, I guess do you
Because
give
they
it out
couldn't
to
pay for their
everybody?
septic system pump. We had to pay $2,000 for
I don't have
septic
a problem with
system
somebody
pump
getting
because
a
they only
bonus
had
if that's
$300.
part of their thing, but as for,
Do you want to start giving
Yeah,
town
but we-
employees
yeah. that's
Christmas
just-
bonuses out of taxpayers' money?
Yeah.
No,
Explain.
Well, that
saying is,
$30,500
some
is taxpayers' money.
I know, but some of those people that they're giving the bonuses to are volunteers.
No, they're not. They're not volunteers if they're getting a Christmas bonus.
I thought that two of them,
Staff.
right,
Staff.
staff, so they'd be paid, but I thought two of them were volunteers that got a Christmas bonus. The last time I was at one of their meetings, but I
And
could
like I
be
said,
wrong, I could be wrong.
I don't have a problem with it, but I'm just thinking, if I don't see Christmas bonuses going to anybody else.
I think this is something we should earmark to take up in their 2019 budget. And if need be, we should find out how much it is and deduct it from the $30,500
If it is
because I
for
don't
volunteer,
believe that.
God bless them, I don't have a problem with that,
Mm.
you know?
Well,
No, I don't
I
either,
do,
but
because
it
I
does
think
say
if
staff, but-
it's volunteers, then they should be given a stipend for their volunteering.
Well, that's
And it should be
kinda
called a
what I'm thinking.
stipend,
Well,
not a Christmas bonus.
You can relabel it. and-
However you wanna call it, but
And it was, there's no listed on here as Christmas bonuses, so I'd like to know where it came from.
Probably have the
Probably
general
with
fund.
salaries.
Well, and I'm concerned because, again, we had that septic system pump fail inside the building, which they're supposed to be responsible for. It was $1,950 plus labor, so it came to over $2,000, and they only had $357 supposedly. Where did they get the money for Christmas bonuses? That's disingenuous. So that should be being disclosed. You know, their executive board can run their operations any way it chooses, and you can address that in the budget process,
The contract's up this year, right?
yeah, December of 18.
I think, I used to go to the meetings, and then they changed them. They changed the time, and I couldn't make it. So I guess I've got to rearrange my schedule so that I can go, so I will have the answers to these questions for you. Because I haven't been to a meeting in a while, because of the time change.
I wonder if it came out of other types of expenses. You know, there's $1,000 coming out of an expenses that doesn't give an explanation for it, just says types of expenses, then you got advertising and membership fees.
Well, it was December 15th, and if it was, it should have been on there, disclosed on their P&L. I just can't find where it says bonuses. And are the applicable taxes taken out? Is it a cash bonus? Is it a?
Well, that's between them and the IRS.
Right.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with us, and I'm not policing that. There aren't enough hours in the day. I'm wondering if it isn't lumped in under their wages. If it's a bonus, then it should be paid as a wage, and
Mhm.
if it's actually employees, then it would be lumped in with their wages. You wouldn't be able to see it.
I just think it should be better scrutiny since they're taking they're almost $31,000 of taxpayer money to operate that business.
Yeah, I think I will ask that question and find out how much, who got them and how much, and, because obviously it was 2 years in a row, too. And like I said, I'm just concerned because we wound up paying for something inside the building. We're not supposed to have to pay inside the building unless they don't have the money to pay for it, and then it's a capital improvement or capital repair. You know, that's, if they have money for Christmas bonuses, I think,
I don't think the bonuses amount to that much.
well, if it was $1,000, that's $1,000, you know.
I don't think it was $1,000.
Well, let's see. We'll find out.
Yeah, find out.
Okay, then, Ms. Kelley, what else you got?
So, I would like to talk to you about raising the Comstar rates. Ambulance rates.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, I got, and shame on me, because I got a thing about the 2018 rates. Apparently, every year we get a form from Comstar asking what we want to set our annual rates at. According to Comstar, we have not raised the rates since June of 2014, 3.5 years. The Medicare rate went up 2 years in a row, so we benefited from that. And this year it went down a little bit. So I did some research. I asked Comstar to provide me with what the average, so they on their form provide the Comstar top 50 ambulance billers, but a lot of those are in Massachusetts, and you'll see when you look at them. So the first column is the 2018 Medicare allowed amount. And that's what we'll get from Medicare and Medicaid if we transport either BLS, emergency, BLS, non-emergency, which is basic life support. ALS is advanced life support, non-emergency, and emergency. And then ALS 2, which I believe includes a paramedic, not just an EMT. And then there's specialty care transport, there's mileage, and then there's a new category this year because Anthem has agreed to pay EMS care without transport, and nobody really has a set fee for that. So I have included that in my fee structure. So the first column is the Medicare allowed amount. The next column is Comstar's average for their top 50 ambulance billers, which is quite high. And I thought that was ridiculous because we're not in Massachusetts, we're not in Nashua. So I asked them to run me a report of average Comstar billing for our region. So our region included our county and 3 other towns that they do locally. So that's the next column. And what I decided, and then the fourth column is our current rate, and you can see that our current rate is less than half of what our region's average is. So the last column is my proposal to you to bill 80% of our average regions, because I think that still keeps us the lowest in our area, but it helps us recoup some of the cost of ambulance transport. This would not change the fact that you would be willing to write bills off if people cannot pay. It doesn't change the fact that, you know, if Anthem, or if we transport somebody and Anthem will only pay $1,000 and there's $200 left, and the person writes to us and says, I can't afford to pay, that you know, it doesn't change anything about the hardship. It's not meant to make people not call an ambulance. But I think that it's our responsibility to kind of keep up on this, and we haven't raised the rate in 3.5 years, and as you can see, you know, it's still way less than their top 50 or even our region. And then the very last one, the $427, that one I actually did it as, I think 60% of the 711, 60% of a basic transport.
So that EMS care without transport is they show up, administer care, decided
And
they're
don't
not,
transport.
and don't transport.
But still provide EMS, so that it's a
It's
call,
services,
we went
yeah.
out to there, we provided
Yeah.
whatever we provide, and Anthem will pay for that now. I don't know that other insurance, Cigna or other ones do, but Comstar sent me an email saying that since Anthem has begun offering reimbursement for HCPCS, care without transport performed in California, Colorado, Connecticut, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Maine, Missouri, Nevada, New Hampshire, New York, Ohio, Virginia, we suggest that, you know, you come up with a rate for this. We can't really help you. You know, we suggest you make it a function of your BLS emergency rate, i.e. 50%, 75%, 100%, and I think I did 60% of our BLS rate. And then, you know, as time goes on and they actually bill it out, then they'll have some average rates of what it is coming back at. But for now, it gives us the ability to bill for it if we set a rate for it.
And why do we use Comstar?
Comstar was the people you decided to use. I do want to look at other, I think if I look at, so right now you're paying 6% in the contract for them. I think if I look at other ones, they'll offer to do it for 5%. But I just haven't had time. I mean, with the flood downstairs and the other,
You're onto it. So, I mean, this is great. Good.
and you can pick another. I mean, you could do 90%, you could do 100% of our average, you could do 50. I mean, I thought 80%, like I said, was still reasonable. It lets us recoup our costs for people who have insurance, and it still keeps us the lowest one in the region,
That's awesome.
by far.
That's good.
On the Medicare, if it's $370, would the person that's transported be responsible for the remaining balance, or would we
No.
write it off at $370?
We agree. That's part of what you do when you take Medicare, when you bill Medicare money, you agree to take whatever their allowable is.
So what, on the right, the recommended rate, who would we be billing that to?
Cigna, Anthem, anybody who has insurance.
And what if they don't?
Then we bill it to them and they call us and tell us that they don't have insurance and they have no ability to pay. We have a whole written, you guys passed a written policy for me, and, you know, I write them a letter, I ask them to pay, they write me back, or, you know, somebody, in one case I had an elderly woman and her healthcare proxy wrote to me and said, you know, she doesn't have any other insurance, she can't afford to pay, and I bring it to you and you vote to write it off. I don't have any authority to write anything off. All I do is make the recommendation to you.
I'm good. You like it?
Seems doable.
Yeah, I think it's not out of the realm either. It's in-
It does keep us the lowest in the area.
And that sounds good to me, you know, considering that most people have a hard time paying for these things to
Oh,
begin
yeah.
with.
And we have our bills to pay related to that as well,
Yeah,
so.
good.
And we haven't raised our rate in 3.5 years. I don't think we've probably even looked at it in 3.5 years, so.
Nope.
And I'm not proposing that we raise our rates every year, but we should look at them every year and just make sure.
We're fine.
Okay.
So I just need you to make a motion to set the rates at that and authorize me to sign the appropriate form for ComStar.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
And we're gonna look at Comstar on the following year.
It's on my list.
It's gonna be a long
I'm-
list.
Yeah, I'm not doing too good at getting through that list these days.
You can keep adding to it.
So I have two more things I need you to sign. One of them is a sealed set of non-public minutes from December 1st, which I had completed and never put before you. And then the other one is authority for Michelle and I to be the primary and secondary secure portal authorized users for the health trust stuff. So I guess if you authorize the chairman to sign that, I think I'm the primary and Michelle is Michelle's the primary and I'm the secondary. And that's just basically so that they can send things on a secure portal with regards to employees' health insurance, benefits, flexible savings account, things like that. We can access that online.
To people, is Michelle bonded for this as well? Do you need to be bonded to have?
I don't
access?
believe that Michelle or I can be bonded because we don't handle the money. The treasurer, the positions that handle money, the town clerk, tax collector, deputies, municipal agents, if we have treasurer, I think the trustees of the trust fund, I mean,
Okay, so
even though we
Michelle.
kind of do prepared deposits, we aren't the fiduciary responsibility, so I do not believe we can be bonded.
Okay.
I can look into that for you though, if you're.
No, it's just the HIPAA cases of violation. Just-
I think you're insured
Okay,
for our wrongdoing as employees, but
so you want Charlie to sign it?
neither one of us attempts to do anything wrong.
Okay, so we like.
Yeah, he's the CEO, I'd let the chairman authorize the chairman to sign.
Authorize the chairman to sign the health trust authorization form?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And then the other one is minutes of the December 1st non-public session that you voted to seal indefinitely, because it has to do with a personal matter.
Do we need to accept it or we already accepted it?
No, you need to make a motion to accept those minutes.
Motion to accept the minutes dated, non-public minutes dated December 1st.
And Chairman Edwards recused himself, so it's
Yep.
just you and,
Second?
These are the ones that I'm out.
yeah, you recused yourself and we're not a party to those.
All in favor?
Aye.
Out.
Abstain.
Abstain.
Oh, you can't sign it.
Okay.
So the last thing I have on my thing is, do you guys want to review the chief and lieutenant and sergeant's job descriptions ahead of picking, we haven't looked at any of those job descriptions probably in 10 years. The last time you did them was 2007 as part of the NHMA MRI
Oh, yeah.
study.
Right.
And you haven't obviously hired a chief in 10 years. I didn't know if you wanted to look at what you have against a few. I got a couple of other ones to look at. I mean, I don't want to necessarily write a job description that fits applicants, but I think it's customary to look at job descriptions when it's been 10 years and you're picking a new person and just make sure everything's up to snuff and modern and includes what you think it includes.
I don't see why not. We should be reviewing them on a yearly or every other year.
Yeah, we shouldn't wait 10 years.
No.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, but I mean, the only problem I have is changing something today as we're getting ready to hire the new chief,
It should be changed. It should be updated.
even with one on the table.
Still a job description, whether
But-
they're
Yeah, I'm
hired.
sure,
Yeah.
I don't care what it is, it's not a big deal, so.
Well, why don't I do this? Why don't I scan it and send it to you, and I pulled a couple of others that I liked. I have not compared them to each other yet. So I will
Okay.
send you all 3 of those, and you can
Yep.
take a look at it and decide if you think ours needs some fluffing up. If you think ours stands up to the test of time, then we don't need to take any action, but it gives you an opportunity to look at a couple of others that are a little more current and see if anything needs to be added, maybe subtracted. Maybe we're requiring things that you don't think are necessary. But it's a good exercise, I think, and if, you know, if we do decide to promote from within, then it opens up a lieutenant job or a sergeant job. I think now is the time to look at those as well, so I don't have any samples for those, but I will send you our current policy, and you can be or our current job description, you can be thinking about those as well. And that's all I had.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep, sounds good to me. Thank you very much, Kelly, for all the work you've done, and for everybody in the town hall that has cooperated and worked as a team on the, whatever you wanna call it downstairs.
Debacle.
Yeah, debacle. That's a good one.
I have to say that people, I mean, you know, Cindy's piled high with storage,
Yes, she
and
is.
people have been really, you know, and Bridget and Victor had to move in 3 hours and get up and running the same day, and, you know, everybody's been very cooperative for the most part, and, you know, Angie's been awesome, humping boxes around and books and storing stuff in her office, because she has, and making room for David. I think she might regret that. She's a little bit of a neat freak, and she's sharing her space now, but everybody's been really good about that. And I have to say, I'm really proud of how everybody stepped up, and as a reward, I'm trying to get the downstairs up and running as fast as I can, because it's difficult to have all these people in
Right.
close quarters. And as you'll notice, you know, the welfare director is gonna be up here for a little while, because I just ran out of room,
Yeah.
so.
That's okay.
But she's on wheels, she can move it around in here.
Good
She'll be back
job.
Monday, so.
Good job for all involved.
Did you,
And Angie being such a little person, she can move a lot of stuff.
She's
I've seen her move stuff.
a true. The nice thing about Angie, she's like a monkey. She can climb up on top of
Yeah,
file
I
cabinets
know.
and, yeah.
did you see the treasurer monthly report?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I looked it over.
Is that the thing here? Is that this thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Do we recoup the NSF checks and NSF fees?
We had to send one NSF check to the police department, so that remains, I know at least one remains to be seen, but generally, when it goes to the PD, we get it. Usually we get it before it goes to the PD, but every once in a while, I know we had to send one recently to the PD this week, I believe, so.
Okay.
Permit releases,
We have none.
we have none. Payment manifest. I
So
have go ahead.
I just want to let Lino know on the payment manifest, there is one check for $35 that's part of Parks and Rec that I did not make her put on a separate warrant, but I wanted to just disclose that to you because I promised you I would do it.
I know.
It was just small money, and so right now, so Lino's asking me about reclassing entries on the treasurer's report. So right now, we're running 2018 and 17 bills. So when we pay a set of accounts payable, we have to reclass some of our stuff back into 17. Because whether we do it or not, the auditors will make us do it, or they'll do it. So we're trying to do it ourselves, so we're all ready for the audit. So a lot of the accounts payable we're running right now, there's a 60-day rule. Any bill that we get in the first 60 days of the year that really belongs to 2017 has to be reclassed back into 17.
And there's probably a lot of it is public, my public safety stuff. It's coming in now, but they've been billed.
Yeah, it can really be anything. I mean,
Okay.
we're still getting, you know, December, because it's January, and a lot of people don't send out
We
statements
just got the
until.
doorknob locks, the fancy
Lock
little, no, not fancy, but the police security locks. And I noticed that it was dated like it's supposed to be for the 17th year, so that at least can get paid. But we should be pretty close to everything.
Yeah, I think you're just about done.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll go over that here in a second. Okay, so we have a treasurer warrant, payroll warrant for $82,896.22. Can I have a motion to accept the payroll warrant?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep.
Yeah, you need to sign that one, Lino. I have the treasurer's warrant for $240,522.15.
I think that includes the 159 for the truck.
And then, yep, so can I have a motion to accept that, please?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
You have a second for discussion?
Discussion. Yep. And here's your signature.
That $35 goes to Parks and Rec.
Mhm.
I don't know who the vendor was though.
You think I'm pretty funny, don't you? Yeah, Miss Toni Bodah.
Entertaining me, thank you.
I see you over there just giggling.
We haven't voted on that.
No,
No, we're always waiting
thank you
for the big guy.
for the indulgence.
The big guy that's penny pinching. Yeah, I know.
Are you gonna heckle him the whole time?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's always waiting for him. Get used to it. Just give it to him before we even start, it'd be all right, I guess.
I come in and look at it beforehand, so I don't
Oh,
have to look
he
at
must
it now.
get, he must get it on,
I
he
think
gets
he's
an
been-
email
Yeah, but
I do, it's too hard to read.
on the phone, I understand, especially when you're traveling. Riding in your Corvette, you know, I understand.
Hey, it's put away.
Oh,
I thought of it the other day when it was 50 out.
Yeah?
oh,
You don't want
I
to
don't
be
want to
bringing
get
that
salt
up
all
with
over.
salt.
no.
Was the Freightliner was for 158, wasn't it?
159.
159921?
Mhm.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. And I didn't know G&K Services was Syntax.
J.K.
Yeah, I think it's the same, yeah.
Syntax.
Is that who you use?
Yeah. For good reason.
Do you use UniFirst?
Mhm. I might be going with them, but
No, you didn't like them, they got rid of them.
good to go, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the indulgence.
Thank you, Mr. Lino, for helping us out here.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, the sarcasm.
Minutes.
The sarcasm is thick tonight.
January 10th,
Somebody's getting tired.
Board of Selectmen's minutes. And the non-public for number 1, number 2, number 3, I believe that's it. Oh, we have 1, 2, and 3. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes as written?
So moved.
Second?
Second, but can we
Questions?
roll back, the Freightliner bills were for 159,921. We approved 159,688.
688.
That's what she's got on, I think.
No, in here it's,
The reserve fund?
no, in here it's.
No, it's over there, I can't see.
There's a number of invoices for one, it came out to 159,921.20.
1599
To 120.
to 120, and what is the capital reserve? 159.
159,688.
Yeah. Unless it's bills for something else, but I would definitely break that out.
23320, is there anything attached to the,
No.
It's because there's some other bills,
Some other bills?
also for Freightliner.
oh, okay, so
Somehow
they get
else.
put in the same check?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or,
okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand
that
that.
doesn't sound right.
that's gonna
It should
be
be
a problem too.
two different
Because
funds.
when they take that up,
Right.
she
Yeah.
should have written a separate check for
Right.
those. That's gonna be a big problem, because we're gonna wind up holding a check for the truck, So we may have to
Alright.
void that check and rewrite that with those separate,
Okay. Just want to make sure that I'm not taking
yeah.
more money out than what we're approving.
No, because there's two separate, for one
Right.
for 185.
Sorry.
So first of all, I would
Good-
like to apologize to my fellow board member for
Right.
heckling him.
You better.
I'm a numbers guy.
You did good,
Everybody
Lino.
will tell you.
I'd be the first to admit I'm wrong.
So you need a motion to accept the non-public minutes as presented for January 10th?
Yes, please.
So
And
moved,
the non-publics for 1, 2, and 3.
So moved, Mr.
That's
Chairman.
our, yeah.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Yep.
I
Okay.
have those for you somewhere to sign. Here we go. Thank you.
We are pretty much, I keep saying this pretty much, but we are officially ready to have an open house. It will be on the 10th between 9 and 12 o'clock. You're not gonna be around?
Saturday morning, dude.
I understand. But it's the only
Between 9 and what?
9 and noon.
Oh, I thought you said 9 and 10. I was gonna say that's
I
not very
think
well.
I think I did.
From 9 to noon,
From 9 till noon, I'll be sending that to the Independent tomorrow
what day?
on February
10th.
10th.
Saturday, February 10th.
Seven-
It's the Saturday
Saturday
after
after.
the deliberative session. We gotta work 2 Saturdays.
You can
in a
take
row.
5 minutes, it won't be busy, because the deliberate session is not that weekend. So you won't be busy.
It's Valentine's weekend.
Oh.
No, it isn't, Valentine's Day is on Tuesday.
It's Valentine's weekend.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, we have
I'm
a meeting.
disgruntled because we have a meeting that night.
We do?
Yes.
Yeah, we're
On
gonna have a
Valentine's
party.
Day?
Do you want to move it to
No,
Tuesday?
no.
Move to Tuesday?
Oh, the meeting?
Yeah, we can meet it Tuesday.
You will?
Look at
Yeah.
that.
For Valentine's?
Yeah. Who's gonna watch us on Valentine's Day?
I have not worked Valentine's Day.
I think everybody loves us.
I haven't
They
worked
do.
Valentine's Day in 10 years. I don't wanna work. It's my birthday, so.
It's
I-
her
I'd rather go
birthday,
study.
that's why.
Well, if that's the case and you want to make it a different day, that's fine.
We can do it that
Are you
Tuesday.
okay with that? Are you okay with working a Tuesday night?
That Tuesday I am.
If you don't have to work
20th.
Wednesday night?
Okay.
All right, we'll repost our.
So
meeting.
anyway, I would like to at least just say that,
Yeah, exactly.
all I'm putting on now is, all I got left is mirrors and doorknobs.
So what'd you wind up left over?
I believe I'm in the 40,000-50,000 range.
I think it was 55,000
Yeah.
before that last bill. so-
And the last bill I just got was 1,200 for
Yeah,
that
so
doorknob, so we should be
over
pretty
50.
close. So 50,000 under
That's
budget.
awesome.
That's how they do it in the city.
No, they overspend it.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's how they do it.
But I will have to say, I couldn't have done it without, there's been a lot of volunteers. I mean, these guys, I mean, granted, they're part of the group down there, and I love the expression that you use all the time, is they get
Skin in the game.
skin in the game. And these boys, these men and chiefs and everything, they really did. They did a lot of put together stuff, and they did a lot.
To put the
They just,
desk together the other day when I was up
yeah,
there.
I mean, just, there's a lot of stuff still they're doing right now, putting speakers up and things like that, that we could have hired out, but they put the skin in the game
Yeah.
and they did it. So I want to thank them. So other than that, the place looks, it needs one good cleaning, which we're all going to get together this week, the week before the thing, and just do a good cleaning. Everything seems to be running good, and it's pretty, it's good.
Yeah, it came along very nice up there.
But, as for that, I'll put it in the paper tomorrow so that we have a couple of weeks ahead of time, and I don't know what. I'll leave that up to Mr. Beaver on how he wants to conduct it, but
9
Do
to
you want to
12?
put that in on the
9 to
website
12.
too? The open house?
that was a good time for the fire department
Okay.
to be there. They wanted to be there.
Okay.
And have everybody there.
On Saturday, yeah, because people work during the week.
Yeah.
And there's people that do work the weekends.
You know, I was thinking of you, you know.
So afternoon would have been nice, 3 to 5.
3 to 5, then where would my day go? Maybe I'd like to work.
You could
yeah.
work all day and then come over at 3 o'clock.
Oh.
You guys only work till 3.
All right.
You construction guys work till 3 anyways.
Oh, I'm not working that day. I'm gonna enjoy the limelight. How's that?
Good.
Other than that, Ms. Toni Bodah, anything?
I have nothing, sir.
You have nothing. Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman,
What can I do for you, Ed?
just for reference here, the two
Shits and
bills.
giggles?
No, the two bills for dog licenses.
Okay.
It's HB 1231 and HB 1414.
Yeah.
HB 1231 had its hearing on the 23rd, and it's going to be exacted, meaning voted on in committee on the 30th. And the other bill, 1414, is going to actually be heard on the 31st. So there's still time for both bills for people to email once they read it, and if they have a comment on it. You can email the committee directly.
What are the bills saying?
HB 1231 is relative to dog licenses. Okay, it says this bill increases the fee for a dog license for senior citizens.
Oh,
That's the first one.
yeah, it used to be $2.
That's a no.
That's
People-
big now.
People in this state won't be jazzed about that.
Right.
And 1414, relative to forfeiture fees
That's the one.
regarding dog licenses. This bill increases the amount of time that a person has to pay for the fee in a forfeiture case regarding dog licenses. So you just read through them,
4
yeah.
months isn't long enough.
And
For
you get a comment.
$7?
We're gonna be chasing the thing, well, no, it's a $25 forfeiture fee, but.
Still 4 months for
They already, I
$25.
think it's due on April 1st, and you got until May 20th, and then you got till June 20th to report it to the ACO, and by the time you get done,
July.
it's the following year.
Well, thanks, Ed, for bringing that to our attention.
Yes, and any bill that comes through, if you know it's coming up, the docket and the website for the general court is pretty easy to use. And you know exactly which committee that bill is going to, and you can click one time and send an email to the entire committee about any bill. So, you know, you can sit home, read through these bills and see what you think about them. If town clerks, town administrators, you know, if you have ideas about the bill and you want to change, you don't think it's good, you can just email.
Yeah, I get a legislative bulletin every week
Email us too.
from NHMA,
Yeah.
and it tracks ones that are specifically pertinent to towns, and then I go online and see what they're,
Yeah.
I don't weigh in on very many.
There's a couple coming up that we're gonna have to wait.
I'd like to know how the whole assessing
The telephone.
standards board is,
Yeah.
and utilities is shaken out, because that one I think has potential to cost towns. I mean, we were never using a third-party assessor for utilities, we used DRA until this year, but they even tried to put a caveat on that we couldn't change in the interim while that was in committee, and I don't even see how that's,
What was the bill number for that?
342.
What was it?
342.
HB 342?
Or it could be S1. It might be 320.
Senate bill or
324.
House bill?
Might be a Senate bill,
I think it was Senate Bill 324.
or 342, one of those two.
One of us is dyslexic.
So many of them.
Thank you for hearing my
Yeah.
comment.
You're welcome, thanks for
Well,
bringing
thank
it up.
you for giving us the
Thank you,
information.
Representative Comeau.
Is that all you would like to share with us?
Yeah.
Thank you. You ready?
Ready.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a great night.
Yep, you too.
Well done.
Yep.
Another well done meeting.
Yeah.
Right.